also keen to let you all know that this is one of the final few races of the season, and there are going to be sign-ups for RNL coming up soon, so stay tuned to the Discord if you're not already in it, !Discord in the chat. My top 3, I'm actually going to back my boy. I think somebody will actually take this through. I think Zuns and Geton will get those penalties, and as a result he will climb. And then it comes down to, again, the best of the rest, like who's going to be the next cleanest driver. I mean, Hugo's is so far down, but I think he's opted for that. I think he chose to do the one-stop strategy, mediums hard. Safso, though, the only driver outside, well, yeah, the only driver on the grid, but the only driver outside the top 10 who had a choice, he's the only one to choose hards.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice, and honestly, I hope it goes well for him, but I'm not too sure many drivers are going to be touching the hard tyres.
Lights are on then here, the USA GP. Lights have gone out, but we need to wait 1 second. And there we go, we are away. Zones gets quite a clean start, so does Geton. It also looks like it's a little bit slow there for Samidia, and Vex is through on the inside. There's a bit of a weaving going on there between Zones and Geton, and Vex is looking to try and steal away a nice little cheeky P2. He's got himself ahead of him, but he's going around the outside into turn 2, which is never ideal, because you're going to lose out again, and Geton recovers to snatch back P2 once more. And the train seems to be going quite well through the S's. Everything, I don't want to jinx it, but I think we're clean enough to say no yellow flags. See? In terms of position changes, not very many people have actually changed positions, although there is a bit of a scrap going on here between Dennis and Vanya. Dennis just getting himself up now into P13. He's recovering his position. Vanya's gone for a lunge down the inside. There's a bit of contact between him and Dennis. I think Mateo also felt the brunt of it too, but no wing damage on either driver, just a fair few code browns everywhere. 1 lap away from seeing the big old DRS being available, and when it does happen, then we're going to start seeing more movements. And Dennis, speaking of movements, has gone for a move here on Vanya. Vanya, oh, he turned across a little bit too hard there. It did flip.
It takes for the heavy rain to start, but
oh, Geton's gone for a move. Geton's gone for a move down the inside on Zones. I think Zones will just surrender this. I don't think he has to try wide up, and Toe being fully utilised now. The charge is absolutely happening. Geton is being reeled in. Down the inside goes Vexit. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Vexit has got race lead from Geton.
Geton does here. Looks like Vexit's decided to go into the pits. So Geton's going for another lap. He's going to hope that he holds it together a bit better than he done last lap.
6 is that gap there. Brownie's actually looking. Oh, that was a big off. That was Danico. Mistakes have been massively made, and he's gone off into the wall. Wing is missing on the left-hand side. He's coming across the track. Oh no, don't do this. Danico nearly causing a big crash. No, Vexi's out of the race. Danico with the unsafe rejoin. Safety car has been called. There's definitely going to be pit lanes activated now. Yonti needs to get ready now, because this is about to be the most important restart of probably his entire season, truth be told. Oh, he's off, he's gone.
Yeah, he's away, he's gone.
He's not caught anybody out there. Geton is covered. Oh, he's gone deep. No, Geton's going to get through the inside. There's also a big collision between Vanya and Sapso that has brought a 5-second penalty for Vanya. And Geton is now race leader. Zones is also looking for the inside. He might get 2 of them. He's going to have to go to hard into the braking zones. Johnson's got a bit too deep. Got into the side of Geton. Mistakes were made for Yonti. He's now fallen way out the side here. Thompson's going to try and close in as well, but he can't quite get the exit he needed. I think he got compromised there. Yonti had a horrible restart, and both Geton and Zones have already pounded. Hugo's also going alongside Mateo Longa here. This is going to be him trying to get up in towards P9 into the braking zone. There you go. I think he's going to get that one pretty much locked in. Mateo's going to try and stick around the outside. He's actually going to be able to carry more momentum than Hugo is there. So he should be able to lock this in. He's also got the toe, but the ERS speed. Wow, Hugo's has so much straight line speed that he's just cruised on past him even without the toe. Yes, he used a lot of ERS, but he's got so much pace there. That was fantastic. Hugo's now up to P9. Also, Dennis looking for the inside of Mateo Longa. He's going to be stuck on the outside for both these right-handers coming up. So this is going to be Dennis very much trying. Oh, yeah, I'll tell you something. He kept the momentum going there as well. So well done to him. But he's got the tight inside for both of these left-handers. And that has pushed Mateo Longa off the edge of the circuit. And he's now at risk. Yonti losing out to Brownie. And he's also looking like Florian might get on him as well. 11 lap-hold mediums are less than ideal in this scenario. And that is causing a number of problems for him. Hugo's getting up to the inside of Copy, into the final corner, gets himself ahead. Hugo's is a man on a mission right now. He's getting everything out of these soft compound tires. Don't be surprised if you see him in P5 by the time the run, but he also cannot afford to lose out any places here. Coffee got so compromised by the run through that hairpin that now Mateo is actually alongside of him, and Coffee's also running so much better. I think he's just running much less wings, or Mateo's running so much more wings. Who knows? But Hugo's is through on Yonti. He's up to P6. He's just on that limit of the 1 second margin to Florian. He's broke it down already. He might even get into race lead by the time this run gets here. More than he necessarily wanted. Hugo's is absolutely rapid. Somebody's going for a move here on Dennis. In towards the breakers up for turn 1. He's got his car turned in beautifully. Right on the inside. Dennis had a little bit of contact with him there as well. He's going to stick it alongside of him too coming through, but Dennis needs to hold on to the position. Otherwise he's going to have to surrender, which is exactly what ends up happening. Dennis gets so compromised by the run, and Get On with a huge 3-second time penalty means Zones is net P1.
Really ruin his position, but he's now caught up to the back of his teammate, and so when the rain does come, they're going to have the double stack, and right now somebody is the one who will be feeling the pain from that.
Mateo also is looking to get Yonti. This is going to be ideally in the braking zone or on the... oh no, he's went deep! Bit of contact into the back of Yonti. I'll send him a little bit further into the corner. No damage and no real problems for either driver. I think they will just shake that one off and go again, but that red light flashing on the back of Mateo Longe means he has no ERS to work with. So, rain is falling. I see spots. Spots are definitely here. They're not yet on the halo, but I can see them dropping. This is where it's a do or die moment for a lot of the drivers here. If you've had a horrible race, take a gamble. Honestly, I think you take it. If you're Safso, take a huge gamble. Through as well. He had so much straight line pace earlier. Brownie has gone down the outside. Florian's on the inside in the middle of the sandwich. Hugo's is going to go for the lunge down the inside. It's going to be as hard as he possibly can, but he's not going to get either. Watch me and my big mouth ruin a double overtake, but Brownie's gone for the inside again to try and push Florian as far as he can to the edge of the circuit, and this again could be an inside double overtake for Hugo's. I want to see the double. Give me the twofer. He's going to get one, that's for sure, but he's not going to get the other. Samidius in this mix as well. He's had a big wobble coming out of that right left, that left-hander there. Now he's going to have to try and make it work around the outside of Brownie. Brownie's still there, but he's not going to be able to hold this. Safso's in. He's the first one on the intermediate tires. Hugo runs deep. And despite all of the side-by-side action, the only person who really gained, well, two people who really gained is Hugo's and Florian.
Check that.
Pit stop. Florian's in. Intermediate is in. Two people deciding it's time for the intermediate tires because there's no way they're going on anything else. And that is, well, at least Intermediate has been given some sort of comfort here. I think he's taken the gamble. I think he had to take the gamble.
Well, it was bad timing from the safety car more than anything else. It wasn't really much of a mistake.
Sorry, Brownie and Hugo's go for a bit of a fight here, coming into the hard braking zone of the hairpin left. He's going to go around the outside. He's not quite got that maneuver locked in. Very well defended there from Hugo's. Brownie's going to have to sit tight for now. But Hugo's is showing that he is starting to crumble. And even Mateo is going to get onto that as well now. This race is going to end off, but I can tell you it's going to be a banger because Copy, he's already looking to try and get the inside there on Yonti. That's a mistake made from Yonti, it looks like, and the Copy trying to get a little bit fighty. He has a lot of ERS to deploy, and he's going to try and do that on the straights. There's no way that Yonti can defend against this, especially with his penalties. I don't think he's going to want to, but that should now give Copy that happiness, the great success feeling that he's going to have. After many races of not having that feeling, it'd be great to see what he can do. Zones, though, he looks like he's losing time to get on.
Yeah, they've both made mistakes, and you know the track conditions are definitely affecting them. There, and Zones gets that another penalty there. They've been sliding and they've been catching it, and they've both been struggling. But Zones is keeping it on track, and Get On is keeping it on track, and Zones is just falling outside the areas, and that has cost him there. He cannot win this race. However, it does not look like he'll lose the position.
Yeah.
They've gained enough time over Top Tom, who it looks like he is struggling now in these conditions as well. He is tiptoeing around his corner, and the back end still stepping out. Florian there potentially could make some moves.
I think Brownie's going to go for a move, honestly. This is a very close little fight between him and Hugo's. This is for P6, remember. He doesn't actually have to pass him physically, but come on, if you're going to go for glory, you go for glory, and he's going to try and close in as much as he can. He's burnt every single percentage of his ERS to the point of where he is very much, like, almost hit 0. He was on 1% there, but he's just not able to close in. I think Hugo's just has that little bit extra wing there, less wing, which is helping him in those straight lines, but it's not helping him in the corners. I think ultimately contributed to him getting a penalty, but 2 corners to go then. Ghetto has driven such a fantastic race here. Yes, he got a penalty, but you cannot take it away from him. He drove so consistent, so clean, and so fast that as we come through the final corner, Ghetto will take the win here in the USA with Zones in P2. Tom, who has a 3-second penalty for Zone, will finish in P3. Florian will cross the line and take P4. Somebody will jump at least one of them. I don't think he's going to get the other. Oh, he doesn't. He stays P5. He's outside of it by almost a full second. Hugo's across the line and gets P6, but Brownie, due to his consistency, gets that position from him. Mateo across the line. Dennis is about to, but watch Copy here. He is about to hop, skip, and jump. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Rwagnation League Grand Prix here in Mexico. I'm Ben Raggy McConnell, and joining me at the commentator's desk as normal is the lad himself. It's Mark Hornbadger Meiklejohn. How you doing?
Oh, I'm very excited. Mexico's always such an exciting race to come to, with lots of people making mistakes, and I'm quite excited to see what these guys can do.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like you said, this is a circuit where, honestly, it's really difficult to be so consistent. It's really simple to get penalties, and, you know, especially if you add into any sort of alternate conditions. If the rain starts to fall or if it starts to get a little bit greasy, it can make it even harder, as we saw in the F2s prior to this. But looking at the weather, I got a sneak peek already. It's going to be dry, but this is the circuit that we're going to be attacking today. 2.6 miles, 17 turns with 3 DRS zones, but the main one being the run up towards turn 1. The one after that is the same detection zone, so if you're already trying to cement an overtake, you're pretty much going to do it there and there. So these championship standings looks pretty good if your name is Geton, because it's 312 points to you, 276 to Zone. Somebody is kind of still in there, but he's going to need a miracle run here today, and so is Hugo's in the same boat. Around for the P11 territory, it's quite a bit of a gap. Florian's actually doing pretty well there in P11, but he's not quite in that top 10. He does need to push that little bit harder to try and get himself up there into the top 10 to get an invite secured for the next season of the Rwagnation League. Now, the Constructors is the spicy topic, because look how close it is. Williams, 411 points. McLaren in P2 with 404. Yes, it's a 2-horse race, but the 2 horses are going all the way to the end before they even cross that finish line and get into it. Now, we have a hot lap from my good friend and accomplice is one Yonti, who's going to show us how to do this on the beautiful Mexican circuit. DRS swing wide open as you charge all the way down the home straight. It is a massive run towards turn 1. It's a very hard braking zone, and it's quite an awkward series of 1, 2, and 3, because you see here, brake at the 100-meter bar, get right out there, cut the inside as much as you can, and then you got to carry it weirdly through turn 2 and 3. You don't want to run too wide because you will invalidate. You also want to try and maximize as much as you can. Get the DRS swing wide open once more for the second DRS straight. Again, around about just after the 100-meter bar, you want to brake, get yourself right down the gears, and you need to slow right down here, because this corner's right-hander is very slow, and then you come into another double right-hander this time, though, and then you got to clip 1 and then 2, get the exit again as clean as you can. You're coming into, I would say, the hardest section of the circuit. You want to try and flick it in, cut as much as you can on the left and again on the right, and then this is where you have to be absolutely precise. There will be no overtaking here, not without somebody conceding a position, at least on purpose, with another DRS swing wide open. Charge up now into one of the final few proper hard braking zones, because you're into the stadium complex. Very slow, very technical little series of corners here. You need to be really careful on the throttle as you come into the most important corner of the circuit, the final one, because this then sets you up for that huge, long, straight line sprint right the way towards turn 1. And like I said, we've seen the weather. We know how clear as day it is. Badger, I'm going to give you a minute. You've got 1 full minute to think about your top 3 prediction, because I'm going to ask the chat. Guys and girls in the chat, I want to hear what is your 1, 2, 3 prediction for qualifying. Type it in the chat, let me know, and I will have a look and give you a little bit of a shout out, shall we say. Badger, go.
So, honestly, I don't really think you can look anywhere other than zones and get owned right now. So I think zones is probably gonna. He knows exactly what he needs to do to take this championship fight to the next race, and I think he can do it. I think zones can get P1, get owned will be in P2, and honestly, I'm feeling good. I think Vexit's going to make this to P3.
Okay, I mean, I'm told Samidia, despite him being an American, he has stated on a few occasions that Mexico is his home circuit, okay? Now, I'm fine with that. I've got no issues with that at all. But that means now that the pressure's on him. He has to really deliver. But when you've got the newbie who's in here now, Shazzy Felipe, he is a Brazilian driver who is primarily from console, has actually just recently made a switch to PC. He is somebody who has sparked a lot of interest. He's very, very fast. Actually, sort of like, I expect it to be up there with Geton, Zones, and Top Tom level quick. So we'll see if that follows through. But honestly, Samidia and Hugo's have been god tier drivers. And if the hype is to be believed, I think we have to put them in that top 3. Maybe not for the qualifying, but absolute for that race, which we'll come to after this. Now, Yeben has said Samidia, Hugo's, and Get Earned for 1, 2, and 3. I think that's a pretty good shout, to be honest. I wouldn't say that's far away from the truth, but I mean, you are kind of putting the others out there a little bit. But I guess we'll see. From my perspective, I'm going to back him. I'm going to believe the hype. I'm on that bandwagon, baby. Felipe, going to get P1, I think. P2, I'm going to give it to Zones. P3, I'm going to give it to Get Earned.
So I noticed Felipe actually did give Get Owned the toll there. So Get Owned should have been on an absolute flyer, and he is. He goes 10th faster. So it was a good toll that he got and managed to set the time. So yeah, it's looking like the McLaren boys are really going to be taking the fight to Williams today. And just to note, if Get Owned outscores Zones by 12 points or more today, he will be champion. Wow.
And bear in mind, you know, in the Constructors, they won it last season. The Constructors is obviously not yet over and won't be over until the final race, I imagine, unless it goes really badly for Williams or the other one tonight. I'm told it's 16 points.
16? We'll double check that, but I'm pretty sure I counted it up correctly, but I will trust JC. But yeah, either way, Get Owned has the chance to win the championship today.
Probably wouldn't argue with a maths degree.
True.
Individual studying. Was he studying quantum maths or some next level crazy stuff? But yeah, we'll see. Right, well, anyway, let's look at how we are doing here, coming into the first real ending of the first wave of times. We've seen a 112.955 being the provisional poll. That was from Get Earned, who did receive the slipstream there from Felipe. Zone's only just behind him there in P2. I think he didn't receive the tow from his teammate. I could be wrong though. Felipe though in P3, Top Tom P4, Samidia at P5, Mateo P6, newbie to the league. He raced last week in USA, if you remember. Did get a fair few penalties in the actual race, but still secured points in his debut race. That's really good going.
Yeah, he done really well. Honestly, it was a surprise. You know, he was in fighting and he never really made many mistakes. He was a little bit poor in his ERS management, but other than that, you know, had a very strong race. And I've just recounted, and JC is correct. And this is why you do not try and count while you're commentating, because clearly it doesn't work.
Yeah. I mean, at least we've got to the bottom of it. So 16 points is how much more than Zones he has to get today, which realistically means Zones needs to not finish in a points position, and Get Earned would need to finish in second or above.
He could get
Or he
third
could
with the
finish
fastest lap.
fastest lap as well, yeah.
So third with fastest lap if the zones does not score, but we know that's not very likely.
No.
But it is on the cards, you know. It is a potential for the championship.
Well, we got Higgsy, who's about to finish a hot. No, he's not. He's going into the pits. It was a pretty slow one anyway. 119 as he entered into the pit lane, so that's less than ideal. We got a Copy though, who's out there. He's currently attempting a hot lap. We have seen in the past that he's been one to sort of be very hit and miss in the qualifying. I've seen him many times where he struggled loads and loads to get any sort of good time in. And then when it comes to the actual final lap, he just pops one in there and you're like, oh, hello, welcome to P8 or what, who is that? Did you see that, Haas? That was Safso.
Yeah, that was Safso. I think he was just getting out of the way from Copy as he's on a flyer, but that was it seemed a little bit
Extreme.
far off the field.
Yeah. And then he did then. It looked like he wasn't paying full attention. Did kind of just clip the wall on the inside as well. So back to the pit lane for him. That's if he knows. Yes, he does. So that's good. Felipe out on a hot lap right now. He's actually... Oh, that was a huge tank slapper coming through there. But he's looking pretty good coming through the final corner. Is this going to be a new and improved time to coming up to the line? Then it is, but not enough to move him up into P2 or above.
Yeah, well that's incredibly consistent in times that he's put in there. He only went 4 hundredths faster, so 2 almost identical lap times. So he clearly is a very consistent racer. And I'm just checking the sector times, and the sector times are also pretty identical from what he'd done previously. A little bit slower in sector 1, but a little bit faster in sector 3. So yeah, pretty much bang on across the board. Impressive.
Indeed, Alex crossed the line. It goes P13 for now. Felipe is not on a hot lap. Gertund is now starting a lap. He's actually not getting the toe this time. I do want to stay on board with him because this guy is somebody who has absolutely smashed it when it's come through to his actual qualifying. He's so good in the qualifying session, and his race in general, like his overall racecraft is fantastic, and I want to see more of this. I just want to see him push that a little bit further, get a little bit more out of his racing. If he can continue doing that, fair play to him. Very good job overall. But Getter now then coming up into the second sector. Bit of a lockup there, less than ideal, but it's not going to affect him too much. It will affect his tyre wear though, and this is a circuit where the tyre wear gets destroyed here. Yes, there's only really one sector that melts it away, but that one sector alone is what heats the tyres up to oblivion and makes them hotter than the sun. So if he comes through... Oh, he made that look so intentional. It looked like he was out of control of his car while staying fully in control of it. Coming into the hard braking zone at the end of the DRS straight. Needs to try and flick the car right through, just missing that sausage curb. This has been rehearsed a number of times, you can tell. Coming into the stadium complex then, the exit needs to be smooth and consistent, and it's exactly that. The final corner, get it right around there. This is going to be a banger, I can feel it. 1, 2, it's not the... Oh, he has improved, he's done it. Wow, 112.858 without the toe. Imagine what he'll get when Felipe gives him the suck.
To be honest, I don't know if he will at this point. You know, I mean, he's probably only going to do one more flying lap, and I would say it's probably his turn to give the toe to Felipe. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, just looking through, going back to what you were saying about his race, you know, he has done fantastically well in the races, but you're right, there are a few things that he can tweak and improve. You know, he's given himself penalties and drive-throughs from, you know, trying to maximize everything he can, and it's not been great for him.
No, you're absolutely right. Top Tom getting himself up there. He's only 4 thousandths away from zones. Yes, he's a tenth and a bit away from Getone, but Top Tom showing that, well, don't forget about me. Don't rule me out of this. I am a very quick driver, and I will show you that whilst my commentator is hiccuping.
Yeah, it's you know, Top Tom is someone I don't like to comment on, because every time I do, he seems to have like a really bad session.
Yeah.
But I love seeing him up there because, you know, he is such a talented driver, and it's great to see him mixing it in with the guys in the front.
Felipe's gone out again for his third run. Now, realistically, he's on his last set of tyres, unless he's gone for the softest compound, which it is doable. two-stop strategy is the usual tend to go for, and nobody's going to beat the 112.9s on mediums, that's for sure. But we'll see now as Felipe will demonstrate how we do a nice, quick, probably new pole hot lap around Mexico.
I feel that he's went a little bit too early. You know, if this is going to be his final lap, the track conditions are going to improve still, because we've got 5 minutes left of this session.
I think he's trying to beat the traffic. Is more what it is, but I agree with you. If you're looking for the track evolution, you've definitely gone out too early. He is absolutely nailing those sausage curves. That was fantastic.
He's using every inch of the track, and he's absolutely pinpoint precision in these turn-ins.
Honestly, it's so... I could watch this. Have you ever watched Trackmania, where they do like those tracks and they do not miss a single, like... you know what I mean, right? Those videos. Yeah. It's honestly, watching these guys hot lap is like watching that. It's absolutely incredible. I could sit there and watch these hot laps all day and just be in awe as to how he does this. And even there, it looked like the car was out of control, and he still kept it in control and just was like, "Oh yeah, I expected it to do that. That's meant to do that." It's crazy.
Yeah, it's the perfect amount of slide to get you through there as quick as possible. Does take a little bit extra out your tyres, but it's the fastest way through.
Is this going to be the new pulsating time then? Yes, it is! Oh. Only by 200ths of a second, but still fantastic from Felipe. I'm so glad I put him as my P1.
Yeah, he's really showing his skill right now, which is great to see. And Sasso retired. Is that on track? No, it looks to be in the pits, so I don't know if he's having issues, but he's not going to go again. P16 is the best he'll be able to do it today.
Zones has made a bit of an issue there through that final couple of corners. He might actually have bought this. He's not. He's staying true to it. Comes through to the line then. It's a 112.871. He's close, but it's just not quite enough to separate the McLarens or beat them.
This is insane, just how close the top three are right now. That's just mad. 300ths between the top three.
I mean, even if you include P4, it's very close there still. You know, we're talking a tenth and a bit.
Tenth and a half, so it's unreal.
Crazy.
That is
I love this.
So close. And again, I doubt Zone's got the slipstream. I didn't actually see it, but Felipe and Get Owned did not give each other the slipstream on that run, so they've still at least got a 10th in hand. Have you got the telemetry? Yes, indeed. So before you tell me the telemetry, I'm going to have a feeling the Zones has actually got the fastest the fastest sector 1 and 2, but it was sector 3 that he was slowest in. I can categorically tell you that you are wrong. Zones does not have a single fastest sector. And he's that close? It must be so close on the timings then. Yeah. Top Tom's got the fastest sector 1, and sector 1 is Zones' fastest compared to Felipe and Get Owned. But then Zones is about a 10th slower than Felipe in sector 2, and he's a 10th slower than Get Owned in sector 3. But because he's got that big advantage in sector 1, he's pulled off. But Top Tom again, just a little bit faster in sector 1, and then he kind of falls away towards the end of the lap. But it is incredibly close. So I've been told by Williams race engineer number 2, or Yeben, who's told me that the timing is off by 40 seconds. So count an extra 40 seconds on top of the time we already have there. That's how much time the drivers have left in the session. Although Hugo's is out there right now, a little bit of a wobble through there, less than ideal, losing a fair bit of time there, maybe a 10th or so. But the rest of the run is looking very smooth. And look how close they are. Like him, Danico, and Matteo are all really close together. Like if he gains just a 10th, he's already jumped 2 places. He gains a little bit more than that, he's going to jump into Vexit. Slightly more, and he's going to be up there with his teammate. But he has invalidated, so this lap is done and dusted. And unless he's got the fuel to go again, which he doesn't look like he does, Hugo's is out of qualifying. Yeah, Hugo's, unless this is a mistake, it looks like he's only used the one set prior to this. But I've actually just checked, and I think Get Owned and Felipe used the... a worn set on that last lap.
Oh. I mean, they're going out again right now, so...
Yeah, they're going out right now on like a new set. Vexit! Oh my god, where did that come from? I wasn't even paying attention.
Oh, Tom! What a talk about a bar raiser! Tom just goes, oh, 823, okay, yeah, let me just slap that in the dirt. 637, easy peasy slaps. And now you're going to have to see the McLaren boys get sweatier than ever before. This qualifying is about to pop the off. And Zones is involved in it too. We'll see how this one goes. I cannot wait for the laps to finish.
You know, as soon as I saw that Felipe and Get-On had used worn tyres, I was like, wow, they must have like a good 2/10 in their pocket. That's incredible. And then Tom's like, I've got 2/10 in my pocket as well.
Exactly.
Like, here we go.
Well, we'll see now as they go around and done. Okay, so racing point. That was not Danica, it was Copy, who's actually just started the hot lap. We're going to see more as the time goes on. Weather forecast for the race is that it's going to be sunny at the start with clouds later on. No sign of any rain. Danica has just invalidated by going a little bit too deep into that corner for the student complex, but we can forget about that as he comes now through the final corner. I think he's going to stay committed to the line, just see what time he could do. It's a 113.4. which would have been slower than what he had already anyway, so no real disaster, but it would have been nice if he could have just got himself a little bit closer to that top 5. But here comes Dennis then. Where can he finish? Will he get into the top 10? He will not. It's P11. Now we have the McLaren. I believe that is Ghetto. Yep, no, it's Felipe. Who goes pole?
Right to the top. So Felipe had the fastest Sector 1, but then in Sector 2 through the S's, he actually caught up to 3 cars through the S's, and he still goes pole.
Well, Mateo's done and dusted. Zones is done and dusted. We're going to see as he comes through the line what time he would have set. It would have actually been close, but not quite enough. It would have been up there in P3. Get on then. He crossed the line, but only manages to make it into P3. And I think, as I look down, that is qualifying over. So Felipe getting pole position by just over 100th of a second. Top Tom there in P2, who we completely overlooked. We did not see that coming. And then the second McLaren in P3 there, that's Get Earned. Vexit. There's 2 people in that top 5 I did not actually suspect would get into the top 5, despite the fact I know that they are fast. But my word, this is going to be mental. The train is going to be crazy throughout this Grand Prix. And although this is a circuit where strategy is actually really important, I honestly have no idea how to call this.
To be honest, it's going to be very, very difficult for Felipe and Top Tom, you know, at the front of that field, because it's such a long run down to turn 1 that, you know, you're giving everyone behind you the slipstream. So they're going to have such a difficult task for that first lap. And, yeah, good luck to them.
Yeah, they're definitely going to need it. Right, the rundown at the end of qualifying looks as follows. So Felipe P1 in his debut race, for God's sake. Top Tom P2, Get On P3, Vexit P4 with Zones P5. Look at that. 2.5 tenths separates the top 5. And then you get just a bit further out for Summit in P6. Mateo Longe, P7, following in his brother's footsteps. And he's actually doing him proud, let's be honest. Danico P8, Hugo's P9 with Brownie, rounding out that top 10. Dennis in best of the rest P11 with Yonti P12. Higgsy P13, Cole P14th. Vania 15th, Hazard 16th. Safso, who weirdly retired pretty early on, actually, in the qualifying session, will start in P17. And then Alex Bird, who is in last place in 18th. Now, this race, like we said, it's the weather forecast says that it's going to be sunny to begin with, and it's going to end up cloudy later on. There's no suspicion that there's going to be any rain, so the strategy is going to be crucial here. It's not going to be all about just judging the weather and then putting yourself in the pits at the right time, right place. You just need to make sure that you and your race engineer are in good, fluent communication. And now with that all in mind, chat, we want to hear your prediction for the podium at the end of this Grand Prix. Let me know. 1, 2, 3 in the chat. I will read it out, give you a shout out, and also we'll see how accurate you can be. But we have to go. You Badger first. Sorry. What's your 1, 2, 3, please, sir?
Felipe Get owns Vexit.
Oh. All right. I'm gonna be the spanner in the works here. I could end up just being a spanner, but I'm gonna be the spanner in the works. I fully believe that Felipe will continue this race right the way to the end. However, whilst I want to back my boy Get Earned, I think he's good, don't get me wrong. I don't think he's consistent enough in order to avoid getting penalties on this track. this is one where I think he's actually going to drop outside of that top 3, and I think we're going to see the best result we've seen from Top Tom in a while in a nice, beautiful P2, and then Smitty at P3.
It's a bold call, I think, to be honest, but just the pace that was shown from Exit Zone's Top Tom, like everyone at the front, I think it would be a very hard ask for Smitty. But as you say, he really likes this track, so if he's going to do it anywhere, he can do it here.
I mean, on top of that, the other thing to think about is Samidia has never been one to absolutely smash it in the qualifying. Yes, he's had some hit qualifying sessions in the past where he's done really well, but this is absolutely a circuit where you will expect him to push the tyres further than anyone else has done before. I remember, was it last season or in another league? I can't remember. I saw Samidia going for that really bold alternate strategy, and it paid off massively for him. So we'll see today if he can replicate it. It is his favorite track. I'm expecting him to do well. That's why I've backed him for a top 3. We'll see then how it goes.
Yeah, it's definitely on the cards for him. And as I said, that run down to turn 1 is going to be so important, just with the slipstream. So he could even make some moves right on the opening lap and hold on to the coattails of the guys in front who, you know, we're used to seeing them absolutely drive off into the distance, so let's see if he can hang on to them.
Well, then here we go. Coming through into the final few corners then, getting ourselves back into the grid positions. I think the top 3 will be the same by the finish, says Hatman, so we'll see whether or not he is in fact correct. Oh man, I really have. I'm stuck for words. First of all, I mean, you just heard me stumble over like how many sentences did I just stumble over there? But on top of that, I am so hyped for this race. This is gonna be absolutely mental. The strategy is going to be all over the place. The pace is going to be just insane. The tow train is going to be crazy. There's going to be penalties. There's going to be shocks. There's going to be the Carlos Sainz Award being given to Copy at some point in this race because he's P14 off the start. But the lights are on then here at the Mexican GP for the Rwagnation League. Can Felipe get the run off towards turn 1? It's go time. Felipe looks to have got a pretty smooth start, but I think has had a really fantastic start. It's actually going to be a 3-wide run up towards turn 1. Top Tom stuck on the inside. Gets on is there as well. It's also Zone's trying to stick his nose in, but I don't know where he's going to fit this one in. Top Tom's going to be squeezed to the inside. He loses so much momentum. Gets on and stuck his nose in for turn 2, but Top Tom's going to be benefiting on the turn 3. There's contact for turn 3, and that's Zone's and Gets on getting a little bit of rubbing. Vex is right at the back of this, watching it all unfold. There's yellow flag as there's been mistakes going on for Higgsy. I think he's had contact. Get on, going for a bit of a send down the inside on Top Tom, but Top Tom will benefit because he has the inside for the next 3 corners. And now, as we get through, it's partway through Sector 2, as Zone's actually good for the inside here on Get On. He's got it. And actually, Vex is going to try to do the same thing, but round the outside through here, it never works. Get On realizes that, will hold on to P4. And my word, as we're partway through the first lap, what a start that was.
Yeah, Mateo's had a bit of a bad one. He's dropped down to P10, but he's now hanging on at the back of Vanya, who's gained 6 positions already.
Vanya, I've seen him drive. He's a very risk-averse kind of driver. He always, sorry, I'll just do it. And it works out sometimes. In this case, it's worked out very well for him. 6 places gained, P9. Obviously, Felipe is your race leader. If that telemetry is to be believed, though, he's already pulled a 1-second gap on Top Tom, which is going to be a real problem later on.
I can confirm it's 1.1 seconds. That is correct on the telemetry.
This is a scary time for him then. As, yeah. How are you going to bring that? I mean, he's actually, I take that back. He's actually bringing it in quite nicely. He's slowly reeling it back in again, although Felipe looks to have got a much better exit there than the others. Top Tom, I'm looking set here to actually get this pretty good. I just need some idiot now to find his way through everybody. But he's a guy, again, the kind of driver who will take it to the late game. He will go right to the end of the race, and then he'll make all of the work pay off. He's invested quite hard. He just needs to make sure he doesn't lose this train here, like Top Tom has done.
Yeah, and I've just had a look. Alex came in and got put on the medium tyre, so I think he probably had a wing change, had some damage, but he will be hoping for a safety car as Mateo already gets a 3-second penalty. This will definitely not be the last one. It's so easy to just run a little bit over the curbs here and just pick up the penalties.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially as the tires start to drop off, give it a few more laps, you know, when the softs start to melt away, because they will not last long here. Bear that in mind, they will not last long here. And again, the telemetry will now be accurate. We are now on lap 3, which does then say that Zones is outside of the toe of Top Tom now. So he's in his usual territory. He's starting to form his own little island. And it's working wonders for him. Brownie just makes a maneuver on Matteo Longe, just through using the toe. No DRS yet, remember, as the detection line and activation line... well, the detection line, sorry, is before the start-finish straight, so you will actually not see him get it. Oh, here we go, then, Matteo. He's feeling a bit feisty, wants to get Brownie. Is it going to be an outside maneuver? He's going to flick to the inside. He decides against it, holds back, and... yeah, you know what? I think that's probably the best idea.
Yeah, he could have made a dive there, but, you know, it's such an early point in the race that not really worth it right now. You know, you can sit here on the slipstream, stay with the guys in front, not really necessarily need to fight Brownie in the corners, and he can maybe make a move later.
I cannot stress how difficult this circuit is in that second sector. It is such a hard track to drive lap after lap after lap, being consistent and not getting any penalties. And then adjusting your racing lines based on your tire wear. Like, that's insane. And here we go then into starting lap 4. The train is still ongoing from P3 onwards down to P8. Dennis gets himself in there with Yonti and Matteo for penalty. We'll see now as Geton looks to be getting a bit fighty here with Zones. Yep, the pace is there for him. The DRS and ERS helping him there as well. He's now up to P3. It's just, what do you do about the other two ahead of you?
Yeah, I think he's got to try and close into that gap. You know, the McLarens are usually pretty good in a straight line. They're usually been set up pretty well, but whether he can get that 1.7 down to under the 1 second is going to be a very big ask for him, especially now that he's given away the DRS to Zones behind him. But, you know, as we know from Get Owned, he's always very good with his ERS management, so he should be able to, you know, still have some pace and some good straight line speed with just the way the car's set up.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Felipe managing the gap, keeping it pretty much frozen as it is. Top Tom is kind of pulling away from Get Owned, which obviously kind of demonstrates how good Felipe is doing too. But I just don't see how anybody outside of this top 2 now can actually bring this back. It's just too far away. Maybe you get some sort of god tier pit stop, but you're going to need a crazy level pit stop. I
mean, good to see what Get Owned can do now. He's in a little bit of clear air because he has been, you know, sitting on the back of guys since the start. So, I mean, he's already brought up nearly a second gap to his own. So he's clearly got the pace of the 2 in front of him. He just needs to reel it back in and catch up to them. And
Vex is actually getting a move done here on Zones as well into the braking zone. It's going to be Vexit will be the gained car there. He's up to P4, but at 1 second margin now, he's going to need to use this DRS and a bit of that ERS to help reel it back in again now. Get back into the DRS range of Geton. Vexit, you know, I'm impressed. Vexit is looking so quick.
Yeah, we know that he's a very quick driver, and to be honest, looking at the zones right now, I don't think he has set up the car correctly because he is running out of pace on that straight. And it's just kind of been, even when he had the DRS from Get Owned in front, he was still just a sitting duck to Vexit behind.
So the stewards have just been in touch to inform that the incident between Higgsy and Yonti on lap 1, which of course caused that yellow flag, will be investigated after the race. So don't expect to be seeing any verdicts issued for these guys in that race. It's going to be at some point after. Now Vanya's got himself onto that time penalty board. I think that was also Danico as well.
Danico, yep. And Matteo has got another warning for corner cutting, so his second penalty might be on his way soon as well. Ooh. As he has
virtual safety car. Copy and Vanya. Oh no, it's all gone wrong. There's been a severe penalty for Vanya for the collision he's had with Matteo Longe. I think Copy will be... I'm suspecting this is a retirement.
Yeah, Yonti managed to get just into the pits right as that safety car was coming out, so he'll be able to, you know, get in and get out before anyone else, and hopefully make the most of gaining that 10 seconds or so under the VSC. But Copy now needs to get a change of front wing, and it's going to hold him up a bit. He probably won't get out before the VSC ends. But
yeah, I also want to point out that Top Tom, before the safety car was called, actually got back into the DRS range of Felipe. And Yonti's got a drive-through penalty for speeding under the VSC. This is just everything Yonti did not want in this race has just happened. I mean, don't get me wrong, it can still change up because the Safso and Matteo Longe going side by side. Matteo's going to try and stick it on the inside. I think he's got it done. Yes, he has. In 13th place then for him. Vanya just watching this all unfold. He's going to have DRS, remember, because we didn't have the full safety car. Safso's coming right back at him. He's already got himself ahead. Safso just seems to have gained some extra sort of momentum. I don't know if Matteo just backed off and let Safso get it. Vanya, oh, he had a look down the inside. That would have been suicide. Top Tom looking for Felipe right now. 4 race lead. He's going to get the maneuver locked in, but he hasn't really got a huge amount of ERS to play with. And this is kind of causing him a little bit of issues. He's kind of almost the same as Felipe. Felipe is slightly favored when it comes to that ERS battery. But get owned. The man who normally protects his, conserves was the word I was looking for, his ERS battery. He's done such a good job of it here today that he's now right on the cusp of getting into DRS of these two at the race lead. And then putting that whole train from P1 then down to P8. But Top Tom is your leader.
And that's what I was saying about Get On. You know, he definitely had the pace to get back in front. But Top Tom, man, he'd done such a good job those last 2 laps to just get onto the back of Felipe and make that move stick. And right now, the train has rejoined. Get On is in that slipstream, and he has so much ERS to play with. What's going to be interesting though is to see who pits first out to Get On and Felipe. You know, Felipe could maybe try and get the undercut on Top Tom and then regain that lead from pit strategy alone.
Well, it's not Felipe this lap, and it's neither Geton, so they may be on the same strategy. They are not looking to be pitting maybe at the end of this one, but I think they're going to stretch and go hards.
You know, we've seen that before. I'm sure somebody had done that last season, and it worked out really well for them. So potentially everyone's going to be trying that strategy. I know that Tomic as well done it after he'd seen somebody do it in a previous league. So we know that it's an effective strategy. So that is definitely something that could be on these drivers' minds. But one thing we do need to note is that, you know, the guys that have already came in for mediums were almost definitely going to have to be doing a 2-stop strategy.
Now looking at it for this this GP, it's going to be a very strange one. Penalties have already started to come in quite thick and fast. There's another one. Oh, and one of the most crucial ones. Get on, get a 3-second time penalty. That will drop him so far down. But speaking of so far down, what has happened to Zones? He was looking rapid in the qualifying. He comes into the race. He's shut down. He's P7.
I honestly think it is solely down to his top max speed when he's coming into the pits just now. But his top speed on the straight just seems so much lower than everyone else. And since he's not managed to pull up a gap and he's been in the crowd fighting, it means that everyone's near him and can use the slipstream and use the DRS and get by him. And he's not having any luxury with this. And it looks like he is doing the 2-stop strategy. He's came in on the medium tyres, so yeah, I think he's got a difficult race in front of him.
Somebody is going to take control of this race soon. Soft hards is going to be massive for him. He will be able to go that bit further on the softs than anyone else. He's going to go onto the hard compound tyres and be able to take them to the end of the Grand Prix. Williams, this championship is far from over. It's so far away from over. We're going to Abu Dhabi before we even get that one settled, honestly.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very tight between them. And right now, Get On's already came in for his pit stop just after he got that penalty. So he is the first of the front runners to make that move. And he's hoping that these fresh new tyres that he's put on will help him get through to the front of the pack. But what's interesting for me is he's also came in for the medium tyre, as Top Tom and Felipe also now come in. But we've seen last year how good the strategy was when you do the soft hard. So yeah, some idiot right now is probably sitting absolutely loving life seeing everyone come out in the medium tyre.
Well, we'll see now how some idiot does. He's obviously stayed out, so has Vexit, so has Brownie. All of them on the soft compound tyres still. Gap further back now. yeah, Dennis 4.9 away from Brownie. Hazard is about the same away from Dennis, and then Higgsy only a little bit behind him. So it's again the strategy call. People have been in, chopped the tires off, and swapped onto some different ones. But what will? That's the problem now. Who is net P1 at the minute? No one actually knows. Well, I mean, is it because you know somebody's going to go hards?
Yeah, but right now he's net P1 out of everyone who's done the stops. Get-On's managed to jump both Felipe and Top Tom as Felipe manages to get past Vanya there. But yeah, right now Get-On is sitting in P1, depending on what happens with everyone in front. But we fully expect Get-On is now he's right under the back of Safso and nearly ran into the back of him through the S's. But Get-On's going to have to pit again. The exit, some idiot, probably won't have to pit the once.
Well, we'll have to wait and see then how this one pans out. Okay, so Vexit losing out there to somebody who's got himself into risk deep. He's gone a bit deep. That's going to affect his exit here through turn 3. There's going to be DRS for him still to help keep himself ahead of Vexit. Vexit will just relax just a touch, but I reckon, I don't think it's, I mean, I think Vexit's coming in at the end of this lap. I reckon Brownie's going to do the same. I think Smitty's going to go one more lap.
Yeah, I think Smitty's probably got just a little bit life extra on his tyres. You can see it just the way, you know, taking these corners. He's been gentle through the full thing, and he's got a VSC. Alex is retired in Sector 3. That is big news. That is very big news. So, Vanya, who's in the pits just now, is that his third stop, second stop? Yeah, he's came in for a second stop, so he's not having a great race. I think he must have had some damage, but somebody right now, if he can get in under the VSC, this would probably be a good idea to just jump in and switch to the hards.
Oh, that was a big crash there from Alex. He's facing backwards into the wall, so yeah, really unfortunate. That's the way that one crumbles down to. But yeah, are they going to chuck themselves in? Vexit, no! Drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car, but he's going to serve that immediately. Get that one straight out of the way and don't ask questions about it. Zones has a 3-second time penalty as well, which is not good news for him at all. Samidia is going to take the race lead physically. How long will that be for? We don't know. But like I said, I think he's going to come in at the end of this lap to switch tires off. I do think, despite what I'm being told in the chat, I think he is going to switch over to the hard compound tires. I mean, I totally get why Vexit tried to do what he tried to do, but it was almost backfired on him so dramatically. Yeah,
it's always the case. You know, we've seen Get-On do that himself as well. He gets the penalty under the VSC for speeding. We saw that Yonti done it earlier in this race as well. It's just so easy to do, just as you're trying to, you know, gain an advantage from under the VSC. But the entire point of the VSC is no one is to get an advantage.
Yeah, indeed. Mateo is also looking to try and fight Safso. That is through 1, 2, and 3. It looks like Mateo's going to be the one who gains the most. They went side by side throughout all of that. Safso has got the DRS, but Mateo is feeling that bit more fighty. Safso's done a very good job to maintain a consistent race so far to have 0 penalties, and that's actually going to help him in the long run. But Mateo, all up in his face, is going to make it so much harder for him to just keep everything under control. There's been a bit of contact between the two of them. That did cause Safso's back end to step out. Vexit and Geto are going side by side through the stadium complex. That's also allowing Top Tom to get into this mix as well. And that's going to be Top Tom up into P7 physically. Brownie into the pits. Yeah, this is going to be a very juicy race.
Yeah, Vexit had actually got past Get-On before that using those soft compound tyres to his benefit. But then with the slipstream and with the DRS, Get-On managed to get past, which is what he's doing right now on Higgsy as well. Just sliding on past using the DRS. But now Get-On, he's in trouble. He's got lots of fast guys right on his gearbox. He's got no one in front to get the DRS and slipstream from, so he's going to have to throw down everything he can. He's already using up a little bit more of his ERS than he intended. But he's got Top Tom absolutely pressuring him right now. And seeing what they can do.
Yeah, Felipe's in a bit of trouble now as well with the fact that he's got Higgsy, who's obviously a bit slower because he's on them much older tyres. And also he's just kind of missing that pace as well. Felipe is going to have to get a little bit desperate because look, they're just running away. They're just, all right, bye, see ya. We're going to continue this race without you, and we're going to already be outside of DRS range by the time you get into the next DRS zone. So Higgsy already outside that 1 second margin. Now, look, Felipe knows he has to get a move on. Hard, break his own, send down the inside, clip that curb beautifully. Now into the stadium complex will be just outside of that DRS range. He's going to have to really burn all of that 38% ERS. And Samidiot finally, after 13 laps, says, enough's enough. Let's get onto the hard compound tires. I knew it. I called it. He's going to the end. He's going to get a podium.
Yeah, you know, he had the win in his hands a little bit there, but I don't think he's had quite the pace to keep it. But a podium is definitely still on the cards for him, as Get-Owen's just going round the outside of Hazard and just makes it work. And he's managed to put a car in between himself and Top Tom once again.
Yeah, but Top Tom, the person you can normally rely on for being quick at getting through traffic, well, he hasn't been able to get through Hazard this time. I think he burnt a lot of ERS there to try and hold him back. I get the impression here that this is Hazard trying to help his teammate, but Top Tom's looking for the inside in the double right-hander. He's got the double cut move, and that, oh, Top Tom, I could watch you overtake all day long. That was fantastic.
Yeah, it was a good move.
More of that, please. Coming up to the next DRS zone, he's actually still kept himself within DRS range of Get-On, and I said this earlier, Top Tom's getting a solid result today. I can feel it in my bones.
Yeah, he's doing really well. You know, he's hanging right under the back of Get-On, and that's exactly what he needs to do with Get-On's penalty. Top Tom just needs to keep it clean, keep it consistent, don't get himself any warnings, and he could potentially be netting himself a race win today.
Well, Hazard has decided enough's on those tyres. Let's get off of those as quick as I can. Felipe is going to have that DRS, which will help him just bring that gap down just a touch, because he's going to need it. He's not got any toe. Top Tom has got a lot of toe. But this is going to help Felipe in the long run, now that he's kind of finally free of traffic.
Yeah, he's you know, set the fastest lap in on those soft compound tyres, and Zolan's there getting a 3-second penalty. His day is going from bad to worse. But yeah, Felipe still has the fastest lap to his name, and he is able to, you know, start bringing that back in now, show his pace, try and catch up to the guys in front of him.
Lexi just set the fastest lap of the race on those brand new hard compound tyres, which is fantastic to see. It's a shame that he got that drive-through penalty, because he would be up here in this fight, taking it to the boys. And I think, again, on that prime strategy, I think that is a massive, massive strategy. He may still bring this back. That's how big the strategy call can be. But bear in mind, he's 12.8 seconds away from Brownie. Yeah, he's got a lot more than that away from Samidia. I think it's just, yeah, it's a really tough one here to call.
Yeah, but he should potentially be gaining on the likes of, you know, Higgsy, Zones, and Danny Cole. You know, he could bring that back as they all come into the pits. He just needs to really try and get everything he can out of this tyre.
Safso and Mateo have been fighting non-stop in this race, and they're still going at it. Mateo has got ahead. I think that was more Safso letting him get ahead, because, well, he's going to get DRS, and he's got a lot of ERS to play with, so why would you not? DRS wing is going to be up in very shortly. He may go for a overtaking maneuver in a Uno Momento. There he is. Look at the pace difference. Mateo will give him a little bit of a defend, nothing more, but Hazard, he is very quick, and on the outside of this, can he get through? He's got, wow, 2 cars in one straight-hand corner. That was fantastic. Hazard, take a bow, mate.
Yeah, he's definitely got some grip on those tyres, doesn't he? But if we look to the front, we've got the Dennis of the day has just made himself into the, you know, he's kind of just made a mistake by the looks of things, and he's dropping off and letting the guys who are catching him behind. And
he's got a puncture.
He's got a puncture. I was about to say, it looks like he has no grip, but yeah, he definitely seemed to be taking those tyres very long. And yeah, that's gave a 10-second penalty for the corner cut. This is a nightmare. He's trying to get through onto the inside so he can get into the pits. And yeah, I was just thinking, you know, he should really come in and get one of those hard compound tyres and see what, you know, if he can do something with his race. And then the tyre went. It's just, and he's went onto the softs. I think that's a mistake.
So, just going back to Hazard's overtake through turn 1. Apparently, he also caused contact between him and, well, Safso and then Mateo. And that actually caused them to rotate completely, and they lost a lot of time as a result. So, maybe not so good. We'll guess and see whether or not the stewards have to get involved in that situation. But Dennis has managed to get off those tyres. He's come out right behind Hazard and has brand spanking new softs. So he's going to try and easily cruise past Hazard here. There's nothing that Hazard could do apart from just watch it all unfold.
Yeah, I still believe that Dennis has made a mistake coming out on soft compounds. When he was leading, I thought he should have, came in for the hards and then went to the end. And after the pop, I don't see how switching to softs is any better. I
No.
still think the prime strategy was the hards there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, doing the two-stop is difficult in itself anyway because it is reliant on you being rapid and making no mistakes and keeping it clean when it comes to penalties. Dennis hasn't done either of those. He is rapid, don't get me wrong, but then having that puncture means you lose so much time. So, yeah, definitely the wrong decision in my opinion. And your opinion that he went to softs, I think you're right. Hards was definitely the right call, but we shall see. As now, Danico with another time penalty. In fact, we'll have a quick look at the penalty situation whilst this battle is unfolding. We also have a bit of a scrap going on down there again for P12. Mateo and Safso, they are just continuously fighting. Higgs is in this mix as well, but he looks like he's struggling because he's got no ERS to play with. Yeah, this is going to be... Oh, Safso's going for the inside maneuver. He's backed out pretty early. Higgsy almost gets caught out by it as well, but he sees an opportunity because Safso broke so early, and he's now up to P14. Fantastic from him. Safso getting a penalty, though. Penalty situation is as follows. Get earned with 6 seconds. Top Tom obviously having 0, along with Felipe and Hugo's. Danico has 12 seconds. Zones has 6. Brownie has 3. Vexa has 3. Dennis has 19. Yonsi has 3, Mateo has 9, Safso has 3, and Vania has 9.
Yeah, it's not been... I missed the second penalty that Get On received, so I've just went through to kind of check my list. I think it was another corner cut one. But yeah, Zones is also getting another warning there, so everyone is really struggling right now.
Somebody who I actually think is not struggling that much is Top Tom. He actually looks like he's very happy to be where he is right now. This is fantastic to see.
Yeah, Top Tom is looking very, very good in his consistency and his tyres. He's not really, forcing the car around. He seems like he's quite comfortable. The problem is, Getland knows that he has the 6 seconds penalties. He also knows that he's not able to get away from Top Tom, and I think Getland is deliberately just slightly slowing down to let Top Tom fall into the clutches of Felipe.
Yeah, absolutely. They're playing the long game. I think that's the right decision to make. But this also is a bit of a godsend when it comes to the Williams boys. Because look, Hugo's P4. He's obviously kept himself clean as well. No penalties to his name. And then you've got Sumidia, who, yes, he's in P7 right now. But he's on that God tier strategy. He's going to climb so far back up into this race. I honestly wouldn't even be surprised if he wins, truth be told.
Yeah, he's got the opportunity now. He definitely does. He's not that far away from the lead as it stands, and everyone else is going to have to lose in about 24 seconds-ish. So that 7 seconds he has behind the lead right now disappears, and he is 14 seconds or so in front. So yeah, the final stint from everyone, they're going to be much faster than him, but he could hold it out. He could definitely hold out and then make it last.
Top Tom closing in very rapidly here on Getone, but again, he's not wanting to go for the overtake because he doesn't actually have to, but he does have to be careful about Felipe, like you said. It looks like Getone is deliberately slowing him up. But at the same time, though, I actually think Getone is struggling. He's not really doing well off in terms of ERS, which is Getone's sort of forte. He's very good at ERS management. He keeps himself clean and consistent when it comes to that. And, Top Tom, traditionally a bit of a spender, if you like, when it comes to ERS, and the fact that he's sat there in the 30s tells me he's actually, he's feeling pretty cozy.
So from what it looks like from my perspective is, as I say, Getwan's deliberately slowing down in the sectors that he knows that Top Tom can't overtake him, and then he's utilising more ERS to defend on like the straights because he knows that he's basically roped himself into a difficult situation. So yeah. I think it is on purpose. I think if he wanted to start regaining his ERS, he could just go back to driving how he was, because at the start of this he did. Yeah, he's went for the move. But this is if Getwan can just start fighting in the corners with Top Tom, this again slows him down even further. But he will not make this difficult for Felipe to get past him.
But McLaren are screwing themselves over by doing this, honestly. In my opinion, they're really not thinking about the people they should be worrying about. The Williams boys. because the more this fight happens, the more Hugo's gets into this mix. The more that continues, the easier Samidia is going to find getting into this mix. And then he, on the hard compound tires, will have much less to do, which makes it so much better for him overall. And again, just making it that bit better for Williams to score big here today, and extend that championship lead.
Yeah, I mean, they've got the opportunity, but I think right now McLaren are seeing that win. They wanted to slow TopTom down as much as possible, and I don't think Get1's going to be fighting this when Felipe starts coming for him on the straight.
Well, we shall see how they do later on. But 11 laps completed for TopTom on those mediums. 12 laps completed for Get1, and now he is going to have to think about... Well, we saw Dennis, who went 15 on those mediums before he then popped. Are we going to see a similar situation from Get1? Is he going to bring it in early enough? Or has his tyre wear management been pretty good? I mean, I've just seen him lock up pretty bad there through running towards turn 1. He's got another one. And Felipe's got one. That's 2 huge penalties that will really dictate this podium. And again, helping Williams score even bigger than they were going to do before. And now I think we're going to see the volume in McLaren be turned up to 11.
Yeah, as soon as that penalty came in, Get1's just put the foot down. He's got right onto the gearbox of TopTom. I think they've realised this is not working.
This is bad. This is bad. Very bad. I mean, Felipe, he was looking very consistent and very good. It was looking very, very, very good overall.
Get1's just had another warning.
Well, if he doesn't rein it in a little bit, then yeah, we're gonna have problems. Oh, this is hard. This is really hard. Okay, so TopTom. Yeah, Get1's in. Felipe will be in next lap, I think. I think that was probably the best decision there. Get1 obviously went out first, and now TopTom can really pull away. He's already just outside, just on the 1 second margin, or at least he was until the DRS was factored in for Felipe. Hugo's 3 seconds back, already within the penalty range of Felipe, almost by just 54 thousandths, and he'll be there.
He's in the penalty range of... Oh no, yep. Sorry, that just updated on my screen to be outside it.
And he's right on the tippy tip, isn't he?
Yeah, it's so close. And right now though, that doesn't matter. There's still plenty of laps left. Hugo's can reel himself in. I think he'll be quite comfortable within the penalty range come the end of this race. But as we said, these guys will have to pit. Right now, Get1 has came out and he is, let me just check, he is 12 seconds behind Samidia, who is not stopping again. So Get1's got a lot of work to do, and he's also got those 9 seconds of penalties as well.
Yeah, this is tough, and it's also painful to see Zones in this situation. So many penalties applied because of his, well, mistakes effectively, but I think his setup is honestly not the ideal setup for this track. Yes, he's just gained a position there on Danica because Danica's going into the pits, but Zones is going to have to pit soon. Those mediums will not be fun.
So honestly, I don't know where he went wrong with his setup, but I definitely think that there is issues with it. It's just not fast enough on this super long straight. Get1's managed to make a move on Dennis.
Oh, yellow flag sector 3, that is Mateo. Bit of a mistake made there, and he gets a big 5 second penalty for corner clean. I'm pretty sure that one will be overturned. It seems a bit excessive, but this looks like he's about to retire.
Yeah, I think probably the 10 seconds that Dennis got as well might get overturned, but we'll see about that. It's kind of hard to go around the full track when you've got 3 wheels on your wagon.
Yeah, exactly. And your horse isn't pulling much anymore. But yeah, TopTom Felipe, they are scrapping, and I think this is going to be the lap they bring themselves in, because this is going to be near puncture territory now. We do not want to be seeing another pop tyre in a race destroyed. Felipe and TopTom both stay out.
That is very interesting. TopTom potentially throwing his race away if he does get into that puncture territory. Obviously, we don't know exactly what his wear is compared to Dennis. Dennis might have just been very unlucky with it popping as soon as it reached that 75% mark. So, but it is definitely something that these drivers are going to need to keep an eye on right now.
The zones came into the pits and went onto a new set of soft compound tyres. Now, I think that's a bit too risky. If the mediums can only make it to lap 15 before they start to pop, then you're going to be very much in trouble when you are out there on the softs. So I think Zones has just chucked his race firmly into the bin. But
we did see Vexit manage 12 laps, although again, some of that was under the VSC, but he managed to make 12 laps on the softs, so it's possible. It's just going to be very difficult. And Vexit had absolutely no pace in that final lap.
We'll see. Felipe, in his debut race for the RNL, has very much impressed us with his pace and, for the most part, consistency. Fantastic stuff to see so far. More to come from it. Oh, Top Tom in. Felipe stays out. Now remember, Dennis, 15 laps on those medium compound tyres and he popped. We are now at the exact same spot that Dennis was at on Felipe's car, and the same for Brownie. Oh no, not Brownie, sorry, Hugo's, but he's brought himself in.
Yeah, this is a worry, I think, for Felipe, but not only is he not going to be, he's risking puncture, but he's not going to be fast. So unless he thinks he's going to get that much extra out of one lap fresher tyres, as Gellin gets another penalty.
A big
5
one as
seconds
well.
this time.
Yeah, that's
massive.
Yeah, that's a big cut. Wherever he cut, that is huge.
Yeah, it was just in sector 1. I think it was just through the chicane there, but that's enormous. But yeah, just going back to Felipe, he's making a big risk here. He's like, do you really think that you're going to be that much faster with 1 lap fresher tyres than your opponent?
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. I don't know. This is. I don't like to be in the shoes that they're in because this is very difficult. Danico on the back of Dennis here. This is very good to see these two scrapping. They're on Danico's on brand new softs. Dennis is on 8-lap-old softs. He's not making it to the end, that's for sure. So Danico is just trying to make this more of a formality. As he looks for the inside, had to back out of it. And Felipe in the pits now. Soft compound tyres for him. Soft compound tyres for Top Tom. A lot of laps to do on those tyres. That is going to be very crucial. Ghetto, and yes, he has that 5-second penalty on top of his already existing, was it 9 seconds? He's got 19 seconds of penalties. He's going to be so far down in the points. If he even finishes in the points, wow, it'll be a miracle, honestly.
Yeah, he's got a difficult time. I think he's only got 14 seconds, but yeah, it's a lot of penalties all the same.
Well, tell you somebody who hasn't got penalties and is currently race leader. It is Samidia, who is doing a fantastic job of keeping that pace all together. However, and this is the only real scare that I have, the soft...
Jinx.
That's not me. I'm not taking that one. No. I refuse. I can't take that one. That's unfair. That's not... I didn't do that. No. No, that's not on me.
Cody, I'm on your side, mate. That Rwaggy, God, can't trust him.
I didn't. Did you just call me a god? I heard that.
I said can't trust him, but sure.
Well.
Well, he's still currently sitting P1. His closest rival Brownie is 4 seconds behind, also on those hard compound tyres. Getont is hunting him down, but Getont has such a large window of penalties that he's probably not a threat to this race win, which really makes Top Tom the next driver along who could potentially spoil some idiots' day.
Well, yeah, absolutely. A really good job from him, and his pace is just blistering right now. He's so quick. I can't wait to see what he can do as this race unfolds even further. Hugo's up to P6. Remember, he also doesn't have any penalties. And let's do some quick maths, shall we? 3 seconds for Felipe, which he's within range of. 19 seconds of Ghetto, which of course he's in range of. 3 for Brownie, which he's not in range of. And 3 for Samidia, which of course he's not in range of. However, he's more bothered about the team game, so he's only really bothered about everybody else around him. So still, big points for the boys in Williams. It's just now that I've jinxed him, how does he recover this?
To be honest, I think he's still got this in the bag. I think, you know, right now Top Tom is 7 seconds behind, and he's going to, by the time he catches up to some idiot, his tyres are going to be gone.
Yeah.
Yes, he is going very, very fast right now. Like, he's over 2 seconds a lap faster than some idiot, but he's still got traffic to get through, and he's
gotta be consistent.
Got to push these tyres hard.
Yeah.
He's got to be consistent. He's got to push these tyres hard, and those tyres, you know, 2 laps before the end, they are not going to be 2 seconds a lap faster than some idiot is in the Williams. So, you know, the longer he's out on those tyres, the harder it's going to be for him to catch some idiot.
Well, exactly. And on top of that, he's also got Felipe, who's fighting him. He wants to fight him. Oh, that was such a good flick there from Felipe. I don't know if he was on board with him at that time. He saw he turned a bit too early, threw the car in the opposite direction, and then caught it again, and managed to avoid getting a warning, because I think he's very close to getting himself one more penalty. However, Top Tom has done a good job so far. I'm not doing this on purpose, I promise you. I genuinely hope he does keep himself clean of penalties, but the gap is dropping so quickly. He's almost already within that range. And yeah, the tires on this track, they are literally like falling off a cliff. When they're gone, they go. Yeah,
and you know, we've seen already a puncture on the mediums. We've seen people struggling on the softs. We've seen the pace go off.
Top Tom with a send and a half on Brownie. That was too big a send. That's why Brownie was able to get right back at it. I was certain there was going to be death there. But look at Felipe getting involved in this as well. He's side by side with him. They're going to go 3 wide into the braking zone. It's Top Tom down the inside. It's going to be Felipe around the outside. He's made it work. He's got both of them. 2 cars done and dusted in just one straight. Felipe up to P3. Insane moves.
And Matteo, during all of that, got disqualified for too many penalties. He got a corner cutting penalty, and then that was it. That was too many, I think. We'll need to have a look into that. I didn't realise he was that high on the penalty count.
I didn't notice either, to be honest. Can we just revisit how big a Nadsack Felipe has? Like, what was that? That was crazy.
Yeah, he's done a very, very good job through all that, and you know, Top Tom as well. You know, it's just the perfect fire we're getting through with Brownie and everything. It's just what good, clean driving from these guys.
Yeah, absolutely, fantastic stuff. I mean, the send from Top Tom into turn 1 was a bit questionable, to say the least. But I mean, it didn't hurt anybody. It did work out in the end, but he caused that to unfold. He's caused himself to basically net zero again. He didn't gain anything. He also didn't lose anything. But at the same time, the person he was trying to protect himself from is the car that's now ahead of him. And Zoe's down the inside of Brownie, kind of squeezing him off to the edge of the circuit. Brownie's still ahead for now, though. But the soft tires here that Zoe's is trying to utilize are trying to be that little bit grippier. And he's going around the outside of the double right-hander. It hasn't worked out. He's going to have to filter right back in again behind Brownie. And Brownie, he knows that rubbing is racing, but that was maybe a little bit too much rubbing for him, as Dennis and Hazard having a bit of a scrap of their own too. Dennis trying to go around the outside, bit of contact between them too. The soft tyres working better for Dennis than the hards are for Hazard, and that's allowed Dennis to get into the points positions, albeit temporarily, because penalties will be applied.
Yep, and I'm just having a look through the timings there. You know, Zones has 15 seconds of penalties to his name as well, so he is probably going to drop out of the top 10. You know, Vexit might jump him, and if Hazard can get a little bit closer, he could potentially jump him as well. So,
get on! Get on, trying to do a similar sort of maneuver like Top Tom did. However, he decided maybe I shouldn't just send him off to Narnia. I'll actually sit behind him a little bit longer. He's got now, though, the DRS range on some idiot. The gap is pretty close, but he knows realistically there's nothing to gain here apart from a lockup by the looks of things. He's trying to protect himself from the penalty range, but he's just yeah, he's gonna get P8 at best. That's it. I'm sorry, it's just not happening.
Yeah, and Top Tom there is now net P1. Yeah, it's close enough. He is within the range. All he needs to do now is keep those tyres alive and try and stay from where he is.
Oh, look at the pace that Getone is checking out here then. Is he going to go for another send? I think he's going to have to sit tight. Yes, he is. That's very wise of him to wait here. The home straight will give him the better advantage. Going for a send there is... Yes, it will help you from the guys behind you, but in the long run, you'll gain more by using the driver ahead of you to just pull away. On top of that, your teammate is right on your backside. He needs a helping hand here with anybody else he can pull a gap from. So, yeah, if he can break away from Hugo's and help pull himself separated, then great. But here comes Get Earned onto some idiot. The DRS obviously helping him out dramatically, and Felipe will have to wait for the next DRS zone because some idiot will not have it.
Yeah, he's not going to have it, and Get On can use this to try and pull away a little bit, but he still has 9 seconds of penalties, so, you know, he's going to drop quite far. He's going to drop considerably far, but right now, Felipe, he's still on for, you know, he's only got those 3 seconds, and so if he gets past some idiot, that they are net equal on penalties.
Yeah, I think there's actually, right now, if some idiot can hold his position physically against Felipe, TopTom P1, Hugo's P2, Sumidi P3. Fantastic result for Williams. This will really help them in that Constructors' Championship.
Yeah, it would do a great job, but you know, the thing is as well, some idiot, while he is defending, he doesn't want to lose too much time. So that just causes more problems. So he does need to try and play this smart. And TopTom is going to keep trying to push, keep within that 3-second range, and all that's doing is getting people from behind, you know, Hugo's and zones and everything. If they just keep catching up, it can breed more chaos.
Yeah, well, Felipe going for a maneuver here on Sumidi. He has got literally 1% ERS and now 0 as he comes into it. TopTom is gaining as well. He's closed in way too quickly. He did not expect to be as close as he was at that point in time. Does have a little bit more ERS than both of them ahead of him, so he should be able to dump a little bit here and actually pull away. DRS wing available for TopTom. ERS going full on here. Down into the single digits, right onto almost 0%. He is ahead and has got that in. Now, Sumidi will need to hop, skip, and jump out of the way for his teammate because there's a very good opportunity here that Hugo's could gain more than he originally anticipated. Sumidi sees that, moves out of the way. Hugo's is through. Williams are the best team in RNL, hands down, when it comes to teamwork.
I'm just looking there, Vegs is set in a fastest lap that is very quick. It's like over a second faster than the previous fastest lap, I think. He's came into the pits, put on some soft compound tyres, and he looks like he's trying to get that fastest lap point and then move himself back into the top 10.
Now my worry here for Sumidi is, yes, we are running towards the end of the race. However, in terms of penalty situations, he'll actually only get P4 right now.
Yep. He's only really going to gain on Get On, so yeah, you're correct there.
Which is not ideal.
Yeah, he's just unfortunate.
Going around the outside here at TopTom in towards turn 1. A fantastic move. This could be Hugo's getting the race win then. That is for net P1 now. Think about it. This is great stuff for Hugo's. He's managed his ERS fantastically. TopTom has not. He's on 2%. Right as we come towards the end of this straight here. And Hugo's now, he just needs to think about what can he do to edge that a little bit further on in this lap. Push that a little bit faster and get himself closer, ideally, to Felipe or further away from TopTom, whichever comes first. But Hugo's, this guy did not. I mean, I can't even speak. Where did he start? 6 places down. He was P9 at the start of this Grand Prix. He gets into P3 when we're second to last lap. Hugo's is an animal.
Yeah, he's having a fantastic race, and as you say, Williams, especially towards the second half of this season, they've just done so well. They've been so consistent. They've been right up at the sharp end of the points, and they're a joy to watch.
Hugo's is in big trouble right now, though. He's got the DRS, a DRS TopTom behind him. They are both screwed when it comes to ERS. So the benefit here actually does go to TopTom, believe it or not. But it's also now, the gap is becoming quite large between Felipe and Hugo's. So yes, this is the final lap. Yes, Hugo's is net P1. But if McLaren can find a way to pull this gap just a little bit more, and if TopTom starts to scrap with Hugo's, which you can almost guarantee is going to happen, that gap goes to a 3-second margin. Suddenly Felipe's race winner.
Get owned another penalty there, but yes, Felipe can still win this. He's got about a second to find, But this right now is causing him problems because he's not been able to get past Get Owned until right now. They've basically just done the switch, so there is still time to find. There's potentially still a race win on the cards, but Get Owned might need to start slowing down Hugo's to do this for the team. But Get Owned is going to plummet. He's got 12 seconds of penalties.
Oh, he's back. No, this is not ideal. They might have just about done it. I think he has. Felipe coming through the final corner. Geton has actually backed him up just onto limit. Go P2. Hugo's gets P2 by 21 thousandths. You've got to go to the stewards there, surely. Geton stopped pretty much.
It's completely within the rules. There's nothing to say that you can't hold up the guys behind. That was great teamwork by McLaren there to get Felipe the P1. Geton sacrificed his own race there. Admittedly, he already had the penalties. He's got another 3 seconds on top of that, and then he would have had P6, but he's lost out a little bit to his nearest championship rival of Zones just to help Felipe get that P1. They're going for that Constructors' Championship.
Oh, I'll tell you, if I was Williams, I would be angry, livid.
Yeah.
That is. Yes, McLaren get the race win. Yes, I don't want to take anything away from Felipe because he drove like an absolute machine. But I'm looking at Geton and saying that is not acceptable. In my books, that's just not on.
We've seen Lewis Hamilton do it as well in real life. It's allowed. It's within the rules of racing. Cheeky,
what a weird ending.
Very controversial, but it's within the rules. You know, nothing says that you're not allowed to slow up the guys behind. So, yeah, that's controversial, but I think exactly what McLaren needed.
Oh no. Oh, it's a weird feeling at the end of that Grand Prix. I'm not going to lie to you. But at the end of the GP, it looks exactly like this. Felipe P1, very controversially. Hugo's P2 by just 21 thousandths. It almost didn't matter that he got held up, but it did. And that is what the problem is. Top P3, some idiot P4. Fantastic result for Williams all around. I think overall they still benefit more than... do they? Yeah, 18. Yes, 28. They do benefit more than... no, they don't, because Geton did actually still score. Scored P7. Brownie P5, Zones P6, Geton P7, Danica P8 with Hazard P9. Vexit still finishing in the points and actually getting fastest lap as well. Considering he had a drive-through and then had to serve a pit stop after that as well. Very well done from him. Higgsy, best of the rest in P11 with Yonti in P12. Dennis P13, Copy 14th, Safter 15th, Vanya in 16th. And then your DNFs are Alex Budd and Matteo Longe. So, I'm going to ask you, and if you say one of two people's names, I'm going to fall out with you. But who is your driver of the day?
Hugo's.
Yes, okay, good, thank God.
Yeah.
All right, I like that.
I mean,
yeah,
I know exactly what you didn't want me to say. But yeah, honestly, for me, Hugo's, yes, he didn't do particularly great in the qualifying, but he held it down really well in the race. He made the two-stop strategy work. Yes, some idiot. We've seen him do that one-stop strategy to great success before. Just wasn't his day today. He did make a slight mistake and get the penalty, but Hugo's, you know, from as soon as the lights went out, he absolutely nailed everything that he had to do. Gained so many positions, and realistically, the race win was right there for him if it wasn't for some interesting tactics from McLaren, which again I totally agree with. I think they absolutely should have done that. That was the correct move. It's interesting.
We're gonna fall out, me and you, okay? All right, let me just let that be known. Okay, we are going to go to an interview with hopefully all three of the drivers. We should hopefully get at least two of them in there, depending if they're all around and available. But we're going to start off with our P3 finisher, which was the lad himself, Top Tom. Let me just quickly grab his fine booty. Hello, Mr. Top Tom.
Hello.
How are you?
How am I?
Yes.
A little annoyed, but yeah.
Oh, me too. Let's talk about it because Badger loves it.
Let's talk about it.
So the chat erupted with anger and disappointment
Brilliant.
at the dirty tactics that happened.
Unbelievable. Ban him. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I'll ask a question. Yeah. Then I'll be
All right,
that's where to start.
I'm going to ask it in a different light, because whilst I do agree it's controversial and I do agree it's naughty, I'm going to put you in their shoes. Would you have done the same thing?
No, because that's just not. No. I mean, you can. There's holding up to a degree, but like, just. I mean, he basically brake checked Hugo's, into that final sector pretty much close enough. Like, yeah. I mean, I'm still happy with P3. Don't get me wrong. I mean, until then, it was a very good race. I botted it a little bit on ERS, allowed Hugo's to take the advantage, and
If it makes you feel any better, Hugo's immediately bottled it on ERS afterwards as well. You were going down that straight with 0% each. It was like, oh, you've got the DRS. Could you make it work? But yeah, it was very close.
Yeah, if I was smarter, I could have done something. But he, deserved to beat me today. To be fair, he had really good pace at the end of the race. I boxed too early, but hindsight's a great thing.
Yeah, it's 2020, isn't it?
I'm happy with the podium. Just not happy with the last lap. Really, I know I was a bit controversial, but I was just trying something. It was the last lap, so I just tried something, and obviously it was probably a bit too much. But hey.
Oh, it's erupting in the league chat as well. It's all kicking off. All right, let's talk about the actual race itself from beginning to end. So obviously the start off, it looks so good. You made some fantastic maneuvers. I've just got some notification, but I don't know what that is from the stewards. Never mind, can't see it. Yeah, I mean, look, I think that was the steward saying that ending he's being under investigation is what I imagine was what they said. I think rightly so. It sets a precedence that I think realistically we need to avoid, in my opinion. That's just Anyway, but look, regardless, your race was still really good. You had crazy amounts of pace, and more importantly, the consistency was there. You were so quick and so good at keeping yourself out of the penalty range. Just the last couple of laps, Hugo's had you. Was there anything you think you could have done better?
Again, I think my mistake was I think it was much better to stay out on mediums and lose the time than lose the time with the softs. And in general, that would have put me in a slightly better position in ERS because I wouldn't have had to worry about potentially over defending from Felipe, knowing that if he got ahead, he would have had the advantage. I mean, I think it was all really good until the end of that race. But yeah, as you were saying, I think definitely something needs to be under investigation because it's been done prior in small amounts, but that one was over the top, and just not what you want to say. But I mean, no, fair play to Felipe. I'm not taking anything away from him. He did a good drive despite the penalty. He had really good pace. So, I'm not saying he didn't necessarily deserve to win. However, just not in the fashion.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Felipe could have done. I'm sure he wasn't the one influencing it.
Yeah,
but
it's good to see the teamwork. Go on.
Yeah, it's one of these things that was like, no matter, how this gets ruled, it is going to leave a bad taste in your mouth. But it is one of the things that you'd think, I totally understand why that was done.
Yeah, I mean, I've had my incidents get owned, but in all, it's mostly been racing incident, and he's been a clean driver throughout the season. I feel for most of the occasion, so until now I can't really fault him. So yeah, I don't know. It's I'll look back on it. You'll look back at it, and but for now, emotions aside, I'm happy with the podium. It's good to keep the consistency up, and hopefully next race spring.
Well,
similar fortune.
Talking of next race is Brazil. Is that a track you're good at?
I think maybe the quality pace is lacking a little bit, but I reckon the race pace will probably pretty good. So I'm looking forward to it. It's a track I think everyone likes. So yeah, that should be a good race.
It's going to be close, I think, because it's something that everybody's like crazy quick at when it comes to qualifying, for example. We thought today was close. I reckon next week is going to be just nuts. I'm not ready for this. Look, congratulations on the P3. Well done, even in the controversial setting that it ends in. We'll see what the stewards decide, if the stewards even have to investigate it, which I think They probably will. But yeah, good luck. Have a good one. I'll see you next week.
Thank you very much. See you next week.
Let's start the shitstorm.
Here
Hello,
we go.
Hugos.
Hello. Hello.
I'd ask you how you are. I think it's pretty obvious, but I'm gonna ask you anyway. How are you?
I mean, I am happy with the performance I put in. I did everything I could, but just taken away like that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, especially with it being 21,000s as well. Like even with what happened, there was still an opportunity to just snatch it back. But yeah, I mean, oh, let me tell you, it was an uncomfortable feeling in the commentary box. It was an uncomfortable feeling for those in the chat. And yeah, I think overall, I think majority of people are of the same mindset. I think the stewards are looking into it. I don't know for certain, but we will confirm. But look,
Yep.
Again, just talk about the race itself. You drove really quickly. You drove really cleanly. And that last overtake on Top Tom was just fantastic. You must have felt incredible with that.
Yeah. I mean, before the race, I thought I would make a setup, bit lower downforce to others so I could pass easier. Which was why I was slightly slower in quali, but it worked out in the end, so I'm happy.
Oh yeah, I mean, last lap, last corner, you were pretty much ready to take the win. It was looking so good, and the controversy happened. But you did still take the driver of the day from both of us, both me and Badger, so there's still a big win in that respect. And on top of that, you actually got big points when it comes to the constructors, so you're stepping further and further away from what McLaren could potentially give you, although it is only slightly further away. I think you are only just edging.
Yeah.
But next week is Brazil. Now, we were just talking to Top Tom, and he was saying that everyone seems to love this track, and the qualifying has always proven that this is a fantastic track when it comes to closely matched pace. Are you looking good for Brazil?
Um, I I think I'm looking better than I was for here, which is surprising. Well, I didn't expect to be up front at Mexico, to be honest. So I'm pretty confident of a good result in Brazil.
Yeah, okay. So when I ask you for a prediction,
Um, we'll go for a P1, shall we?
Oh,
all right,
good lad.
okay, I'll take that. Yeah, that's what I like to hear. I like some spice with my meatballs. Okay, look, congratulations to both you and your teammate. Despite the bitterness, obviously I understand it completely, and I'm right there alongside you. I think it's a shame that it happened, and I'm glad the stewards. I have had confirmation the stewards are investigating it, so hopefully, something will come of it. But I look forward to see what you can deliver for us in Brazil, and maybe cement a constructors championship.
We'll see. We'll see.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
All right, I'll see you next week then. Thank you.
Bye. Thanks.
All right, let's get Felipe in here for his debut race. Let's talk about the positives first, and we'll talk about the controversy afterwards. But Felipe, you did a really good job in the qualifying. You severely impressed us all with your pace. Was there anything more you could have got out of that lap?
I think maybe 2 times. I mean, just the pressure, you know. I was like before, I think, before the last run, so I need to get that run. And my first sector was perfect, absolutely perfect. And then, yeah, I made a little mistake in sector 3, but it was enough, bro.
I mean, it was very good to watch. It blew my mind when you managed to get those lap times in there, so very well done for that. And then we'll talk about the start of the race. It looked pretty good. There was a moment there where it was like, oh, is he going to do it? And then you got through and it looked pretty good. And you had one penalty throughout the entirety of the race. And then obviously we'll talk about the controversy which happened at the very end of the race. Did you know your teammate was going to do that? Did you issue the order?
Yeah, we were in a voice chat, so yeah, we played as a team, you know. As a team, we had to do something, because I needed to win, or because he had a lot of penalties, so he couldn't win anyway. Um, yeah, so just by 21 thousandths, I think it was. So pretty close, and yeah, my races was pretty good. At the start, I kept P1, but I was running out of ERS. Then top some just kept in my DRS gap, and yeah, he saved, overtook me. Then yeah, my teammate was for another strategy, which was crucial. We knew that if we are gonna do the same strategy, it's gonna be like awful for the team. So we did another strategy, and at the end, it's paid off. You know.
Yeah. I think it was a very difficult decision to make, and I understand why you did it. I think it's the stewards are investigating anyway, whether or not they feel as though they need to penalise or whatever. That's we'll leave it to them to decide and determine. But regardless, I don't want to take away all of your hard work because you did a really good job and you actually put down a hell of a lot of pace today. So fantastic to see. Congratulations on your P1. Is today the last time we're going to see you, or we're going to see you again in the future?
I don't know. I mean, this is my first race on PC, actually. I've just practiced a bit with my teammate. And yeah, win the first race is awesome. I know it gives a lot of motivation to continue, so I might continue.
All right. Well, I hope we get to see you again in the future. You take care. Congratulations on the P1, and I'll see you soon.
Nice. See you soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Rightio. That is the end of the Rwagnation League Grand Prix. It's a bit of a weird ending, I'll be honest with you. I've got a sour taste in my mouth after that one. It was a fantastic race. I very much enjoyed majority of it. Just the last little bit. Just really, I don't like it. I don't want to see that. If it was my decision, I would immediately just go, nope, absolute bullshit. Get that out of here.
Yeah, again, it's something that it's in the rules, and it's one of the reasons why Michael Schumacher's first career, that he had a lot of people that didn't like him. It's because he would do things like that, but he would get away with it because it was completely within the bounds of the rules. So it'll be interesting to see what the stewards say, and if anything in the rule book happens to change moving forward. But yes, that's definitely left things on a little bit of a weird note. But up until that point, what a race!
Yeah, it was a fantastic race. So many good overtakes and so many crazy battles. So, yep, that's it for the Rwagnation League Grand Prix. Thank you so much for watching us. It's been Ben Rwaggy McConnell, and joining me has been the lad himself, Mark Horn.